that bright thing up in the sky. It's something we hadn't seen in a while. Guys, it's the sunshine. You saw my early morning videos. That's my most favorite time to come out and check out the garden. It's just so peaceful and so quiet. I love to hear the birds. I love to hear all the other animals, the cows and the sheep neighing and baying in the background. But today is Food Preservation Day. We are going to show you how to can tomatoes and how another way that one of my subscribers suggested that we do to save your cherry tomatoes. Stay tuned. So my tomato plants, the black crims, have continued to produce. They're starting to back off a little bit. So I think it's because we've had such damp, wet weather. They really need some sunshine, and we are expecting to get that for the next 3 days. So I'm going to can these black crims today, and then I'm going to show you what I did with all of my cherry tomatoes. So while I'm getting my hot water bath canner up to speed and boiling, I've gone ahead and I'm starting to heat up my water for my blanching process. And then over here I have my cooling process, and I'll add the ice right before I put the tomatoes in there to cool down. I have my tomatoes ready. So excited. I have 2 quart jars washed. I will sterilize them in some hot water here in just a second. So I always like to try to get ready, guys, and get everything lined up so I'm not looking for something in the middle of my canning process. So my first task has been yesterday. I cleaned up all my cherry tomatoes and I put them in a freezer bag and froze them overnight. So you can see they're like little tomato ice cubes. Let me show you what I'm going to do next. So my husband and I invested in this VacMaster VP215 several years ago to preserve our harvest. Guys, it's even more important now that you preserve your harvest. We are preserving it as quickly as it comes. In fact, I've got about 6 or 7 cucumbers in there that I'm going to pickle today as well, because I don't want anything to go to waste. So next, we're going to smush our tomatoes down and get them as close as we can together. And we're going to turn on our VacMaster VP215. And ta-da, you can see it pushes them out a little bit. It gets as much air as possible. Now guys, you can go ahead and freeze them in your regular freezer bags. I just prefer to do this because I want to make sure that I can save them as long as possible for stews or soups or eggs or salsas. But this will help keep some of the oxygen out and let them last a little bit longer in the freezer. You can also use your smaller vacuum sealer. So here goes batch number 2, and the reason, guys, why I froze them in the regular freezer bags before I put them in this is because this does vacuum seal quite tightly, and it will smush the tomatoes and they'll lose their form. So I wanted to make sure that they could endure this heavy-duty vacuum pack. Quick tip, guys, you cannot reuse your lids, but you can reuse your bands, but you still want to do an inspection. If you look here, there's a little bit of rust in this band, so I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this one. And I have my lids over here, which I have sterilized, and my jars are sterilizing as well. My husband was able to score me a couple of boxes of the regular mouth lids and bands and wide mouth lids and bands. You want to try to find these and keep them on hand at all times. My jars are sterilized. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon, of lemon juice into each jar. Or you can use citric acid. So my water is boiling. I'm going to put my tomatoes in here for about 1 minute. Now, when I blanch to freeze, I put them in for about 3 minutes, but because I want them to maintain their consistency, I'm only going to put them in there for about 1 minute. The skins are starting to split, so now I'm going to transfer them to my cold water bath over here, and we will add more. So now it's time to go ahead and peel and core them. You can see from the blanching, the skin comes off really well. And they did maintain their consistency. You want to be sure and use ripe tomatoes in this process. Look how beautiful that flesh is on these tomatoes. Okay, you can see I have just about the right amount for 2 quarts. You want to be sure and wipe off the rims. I'm not adding any additional liquid because the tomatoes themselves are going to have plenty of liquid. And then we are going to add our lids and our bands. All right, guys, we are all set to go. We're going to bring this up to a boil, and then we're going to start the timer on 40 minutes. So while those are processing away, another way you can preserve your tomatoes is making salsa. Now, if you don't have jalapenos and fresh onions yet in your garden that you want to use, and garlic, you can go ahead and buy mixes. Those are really good too, and I think Mrs. Wages is a pretty good mix. But anyway, I have canned 10 pints of salsa. I now have 2 quarts of tomatoes and that we're going to have from our harvest, and we have sold quite a bit of them too. And as you can see, I'm freezing my cherry tomatoes. So far this year we have picked about 62 pounds of tomatoes from our plants. We expect them to continue to produce at least another 3 to 4 weeks, budding out flowers before we get really hot. We're not hot here in Texas yet, which is really odd. Our weather pattern is very strange, but anyway, so we're expecting more production to come in, and then of course they'll die off a little bit. But let's check back here in just a second, or in about 30 more minutes, and we'll see how our canned tomatoes did. 40 minutes have passed, guys. Let's go ahead and remove the lid, and we're going to let them sit for about 5 minutes before we even try to take them out. Can't be more pleased, guys. Look how beautiful those are. Now, there's lots of things you can use these tomatoes on. You can use them in your spaghetti sauces. You can use them in soups. You can make your own rotel. We love rotel dip here in Texas. If you wanted to, before you hot water bath them, you could add a sprig of basil to give them a little bit of an Italian flair if you intend to make them with spaghetti sauce. But anyway, can't be more pleased. So when it comes to preserving our food, no job is too big and no job is too small. I will can a quart, I will can a pint, 1 jar at a time if needed to preserve my harvest. We have done that with pickles, we have done that with jalapenos, and as you can see, I have just done 2 quarts of tomatoes. Hopefully we're going to get a lot more this year. I have that new steam juicer, as you know, that I've been making grape juices and other fruit juices, apple juice with. I may even try to make my own tomato juice, so you want to stay tuned. If you like this video, I ask that you hit the subscribe button, and that you also hit the like button, and that you stay tuned. I've got a lot more recipes coming up this weekend, and now it's time for me to just go sit in the chair for a bit outside in the backyard and enjoy some of this sunshine before it turns on us. We're expecting more rain next week. But thank you guys so much for watching us. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Stay tuned, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be in touch.